did.
Hi, Brian.
Karen, what's going on? How are you doing today?
I'm good as always. How are you, my friend?
I'm very, very good and very excited to have a phenomenal guest for this episode of Lock Talk. ShJae Le Vanquer, the founder of Spray and Lock Global, and killer product line. And we're going to have a wonderful chat and hear all about his journey today. So welcome.
Hi, ShJae.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, guys. Thanks a lot. What's up?
Yeah. So yeah, we want to hear all about your story. We have a similar journey with our Noggin Oil brand. And
Nice.
I mean, you've been at it since 2003, I understand.
Yeah, that is true. Well, officially, it's probably earlier than that, actually. But yeah, I just rounded up, say like 2003. But so it's if I can go way back, if you guys don't mind, if I can get like a few
Sure.
minutes, is that okay? All right. So what really happened was I was a year into my lock journey. And my locks were probably like that long at the time, right? And so I had to use the gel and wax like everybody else did. Excuse me. And I just got tired of it. It's like I believed that there was something else that you could probably spray on your hair, like after you got the locks to go, like to get to hold and become locks. So I'm like, okay, I have to suffer for a year. Then after this year is over, then I can graduate to this spray stuff that I can spray and twist my locks and it'll hold, right? Had no idea it didn't exist. I had no clue.
And 1 year, like the poof, it's a magical number.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, but it was just like because I don't know why, but I think that first year of my locks, it was just challenging. Like I was like, can it lock? I think we all probably went through that. Think that your hair wouldn't lock, right? So and plus I think it was because I tried some of everything on the market. I tried gels, I tried wax, I tried beeswax, I tried black beeswax, I tried whatever they had. Like I was slapping it on to try to see what happens, and I was just the gels gave me the flakes, the wax gave me the greasy pillow, right? So the black wax gave me greasy and black everything, right? My clothes, it was terrible. So I was like, look, I just have to suffer for a year. By then my hair should be locked if it's going to lock at all. And after that, I'll go and graduate to this stuff that I thought existed that didn't. And so I went to beauty supply store, to Sally's, to everybody you could think of, right? I don't know if they have Sally's in Canada, do they?
No, we don't.
No Sally's. Okay.
No.
So what would be the big chain store in Canada that's similar to like a chain beauty supply here in America?
Cosmoprof? Yeah, Cosmoprof.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cosmoprof.
No, prof as in cosmetic professionals.
Got that. Okay.
So they're the ones that sell all the big brands,
Like, we do have Sally's, but I've never shopped there.
We do have Sally's.
I think we do.
I've never seen
it. So I went to the America's version of Cosmoprof, right? And I went everywhere just trying to find this stuff that I could spray because I refuse to use gel and wax anymore. Turned out they didn't have it, and they would just point me to the aisle where the gel and wax was, right? They're like, dude, we don't have no idea what you're talking about, but however, we do have that wax and gel down that aisle. I was like, nope. So I left, and I figured that it was my problem to fix, right? And so I went home and I just started mixing up different things to see what would happen. And I experimented actually on my own hair, risking it all. Maybe it would have fallen out. I don't know, but I risked everything. I was like, you know what? So either I was going to cut it off anyway, right? Because I'm like, I'm not putting gel and wax in my hair anymore anyway. So I would just lose a whole year of work that I went into trying to put my, get my locks together. So either it was me cutting it off or it would just fall out from some concoction that I tried to make, right? So I said, what the heck? And I went for it. And after I tampered with a few different things and experimented, I actually came up with something that worked for me. And I need to say this like right now, I never created this to be a business, to be honest. Like there's no secret. I don't mind telling anybody that
That's the general consensus of anyone who's built their own brand.
Yeah. We're all trying to solve a problem, right?
Yeah, but yeah. And I mean, I was just like, look, this works for me. I'm going to use it on myself. So what happened was, and I mean several years later, we're talking about way before 2003, I'm doing this stuff, right? And so what happened was, that was this good friend of mine, rest in peace, he passed away, but there was a good friend of mine, and he also had locks, and he's like, dude, like, this gel and wax is killing me, man. Like, what do you use? Your hair always looks good, right? And I was like, oh, it's just some stuff I mix, right? He's like, well, give me that some stuff you mix, right? So I was like, all right, cool. So, he'd bring a little bottle, and I would make him some and pour some in there, and got to the point where he kept coming back. And I was like, dude, look, you're killing me on bottles. I'm buying these bottles for you. At least bring your own bottle, right? Like, you're killing me. Like, I'm buying all these bottles for you. So he's like, okay, cool. I'll bring the bottle, no problem. So he bring me the bottle, I fill it, and he take it to some stylist. The stylist would, like, spray the stuff on his hair. First, he would tell me about these conversations that they would have. If he went to different stylists, they would tell him that there's no way the stuff that you spray is going to work and hold your hair. So they were like all trying to push the gel and wax on him when he sat down. He's like, no, this stuff works, trust me, right? And so after like maybe 3 or 4 locks, they're like, yo, wait a minute, right? Where did you get this stuff? We got to get some. And so did he report this back to me? And I'm like, dude, it's not a business. Leave me the hell alone, right? This is just, if they want some, tell them to send me a bottle. I'll pour them something in a bottle. Leave me alone, right? And so we would have these conversations. We talk about traveling. We talk about women. We talk about clothes. We talk about kids. We talk about everything under the sun. And he would bring me full circle back. It's like, look, okay, dude, we talk about all this BS all the time. When are you going to do something with this stuff that you made? It's like, dude, leave me alone, man. Like, please, like, leave me alone with this. Like, I'm just, you know what? Bye. Just, we'll talk later, right? Didn't want to talk about it. I was like, this is not something
What
I'm
were
here
you
for
doing
business.
for work at the time?
Oh my God. I did at the time. I did work in a salon. I even owned a salon for a minute. This is something that's exclusive right now to Lock Talk. I've not posted this or told anybody this before, but I actually worked with Outkast as their stylist for a while. If you're familiar with that group, I don't know.
Yes,
But
absolutely.
yeah, I worked with them for a little while. And so, but that was all separate from this stuff. Of course, those guys don't have locks, right? So
Right, but you were busy, and the idea of having a brand and a retail product was just not in your spectrum at the time.
well, it was more so like, um, I think I'm just not a salesperson. Seriously, I'm just not. I didn't visualize myself going from beauty supply store to beauty supply stores, like knocking on doors on foot, going to hair salons, like, look, try this stuff, it works, right? So I'm like, but what happened was later on, um, as I like to say, technology caught up, right? Social media caught up.
Yeah.
And it was just, yeah, now you don't have to go door to door per se and knock on doors and beg people to do whatever. Like, you can post it online, show the world at one time, one click, how it works, right? The only factor would be people can't feel it, touch it, squeeze it, smell it, right? They can't try it. That's the only thing that separates the in-person interaction from the online interaction, right?
100%.
But if you can get, yeah, if you can get through to them some kind of way, as much as possible, if you can get to their senses as much as possible with a camera, then you'll be pretty successful. So hence, I don't know if you guys have seen the video. I have a little one video where I spray the stuff and you see the spoon and fork stick
Comb
to a
is
hand.
stuck to it, and a spatula is stuck to it.
Yeah. So at one point I actually had a jar of jelly, but the jar was empty. No jelly was in it, but I had a jar of jelly and I stuck the jar to my hand, right? But I really don't use that video because I don't. I just, what I mean. But I was reading, and this is the thing too. Like, comments are sometimes they can be disheartening and hurtful, but they can be your best friend. It depends on how you view them. So I'm reading these comments underneath the video. So spray and lock was new. No one had ever seen anything like this before. So the comments were like, before I did the spoon and fork, by the way, this was pre-spoon and fork video.
Okay.
And I'm gonna tell you how I led up to that video. So I'm reading comments and people like, there's no way you can spray this stuff on your hair and it'll hold the hair. There's no way. Oh, and then the next comments, oh, if I use it on my hair, it'll come down in 2 days. There's no way. My hair is this type. My hair is that type. Then I'm reading all these messages like, how can I get across to these people? Like, unfortunately, you don't have 2 months or 2 weeks to show people like the transition, like spray it on. This is day 1, this is day 2, this is day 3. You have a minute. You have a minute on Instagram. You have a minute on most platforms, right? YouTube, you can maybe go 15 minutes. I'm not sure. Never did the full length YouTube video, but I'm just saying it's not 2 weeks that you get. It's not 3 weeks that you get to show people the stages that your hair would go through or how it can hold. So I was like, how do I get across to people? They can't feel it. They can't smell it. They can't touch it. They see me spray. They see the twisting take place. They see it's holding right now, right? They see it's still holding by the time the video ends, but how do I prove that it really has a serious hold? And so I was very, I guess I would say, kind of hurt a little bit reading these, because when you know you have something good and people are like tearing it apart, they're like, no, there's no way. Like somebody even told me it was a fake video. Or I was seeing all this stuff online, like, oh, this video is fake. So I'm like, okay, how do I prove these people this works? So I'm like, it led me to my kitchen. Like I sprayed some on my hand, I dried it a little bit, and I just walked around the house just trying to see what would stick to it. I started with paper, and I'm like, you know what? Paper is not, that's not impressive enough, because I can spray my hand with water and stick it to some paper, right? And it'll hold that. But so I'm like, what can I do? What do people know that has a certain amount of weight to it? And what do people know that, it's a certain material, which was metal. Now, so I'm like, okay. So next thing I know, I was in my kitchen. I was all around the house, to be honest. I was in the bathroom trying to find out stuff. Everything stuck to it, but I'm like, what would be impressive, right? So I go in the kitchen. I was like, you know what? Spoon and fork, they're made of metal. If this stuff can hold some metal, then I know it can hold some thread. I know it can hold some hair, and people should be able to know that too if they see this. So, and I grabbed the spoon and I stuck it to my hand. I was like, oh crap, let me run to the video right now, and I'm gonna make this video right now, right? And so I set up the camera, pow, make the video, turn it upside down, turn it back. After that, sales went crazy. It went international. It went everywhere.
Yep.
Yeah. So
From one video, that's amazing.
So no, so what happened was the first video was I made the first video, and I'm trying to think of this particular one made YouTube. Okay, so I made one video that went on YouTube. I don't remember or recall if it was a spoon and fork on that particular video, but I do know I made a YouTube video, and it sat there for like 3 months. There was no activity whatsoever. Like there were maybe a few views here or there, but there was no activity on it. And that was this was the very first time someone bought outside of my inner circle in Georgia. And we're talking about maybe 6 years ago or something like that. There was a call that came, and I totally forgot, and I put my phone number on the end of the video. So there was a call that came to me, and I was doing something, like my phone rang, and all the timing just happened to work out, because what I was doing was really important. And if I didn't have that time, I had just taken a break from whatever it was, and I know when that call came, I would not have been able to take it if it didn't come at that particular time. So this call came, and this guy was like, I'm watching this video, and I want to buy some of this stuff that I'm watching. Again, keep in mind, Brian and Karen, it was 3 months. I told the guy he was crazy. I didn't know what he's talking about. He has the wrong number, right? I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. You have the wrong number, sir, right? So I'm moving the phone from my ear to hang up, and I still hear him talking through the earpiece, right? He's like, yo, wait. So I put the phone back up to my ear. I'm like, yeah, what's going on, man? He's like, no, man, listen, there's a phone number that's this number on the end of a video I'm watching. Is some stuff that you use for your hair. I'm like, I wish you luck, man. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, goodbye.
You blanked on it?
I totally forgot. It was 3 months I posted this video. I'd forgotten I even put my number on the end of it. Like, I didn't expect this to do.
Oh, that's
I didn't expect it to do anything. Yes. And so this is a true story. I'm not made. No one has heard the story other than my friends. Like, this is a true story. So he stays on the phone and he convinces me of my own stuff, right? He convinces me, like, wait, listen. There's a video with somebody spraying some stuff in some locks and they're twisting. And I'm like, and that's when I said, wait a minute, tell me more about this video now. What did you say, right? So he's like, no, you spray this stuff and you twist. I said, oh, crap. Oh. And then I go into this customer service mode. I'm like, oh, we're so sorry, sir. We thought you were talking about something else. How can we help you, right? And so he's like, yeah. So he's like, yeah, I want to order this stuff, man. Like, it's you spray it. And I said, you know exactly what you're talking about. We got it. Like, so anyway, we do the whole transaction. He gives me the credit card information. I run it. He asked me how long would it take to get to him? And I'm like, how long would it take? I said, you know what? I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, by the way. And so again, keep in mind, this is the first sale from outside of my inner circle, right? I forget the www, right? I forget the World Wide Web, right? And so this guy's like, how long would it take to get to me? And I'm like, anywhere around Atlanta, man, like a couple of days or so. I'm in Atlanta, you're in Atlanta, a couple of days. He's like, Atlanta? He's like, Atlanta? I was like, yeah, you say you want to order some stuff, right? It's getting shipped to you. He's like, yeah, but I'm in South Carolina. Like, I was like, whoa, dude, really? Yeah, I was like, I didn't let him hear that, but I'm thinking like, God, really? Like, I'm like, my friend was right. He was like, man, if you let the world know about the stuff, people are going to want it. So I was like, dude, somebody's ordering from South Carolina. This is going on through my head as I'm talking to him, trying to remain calm. But immediately after I take his order, and I didn't factor in people would be ordering from around the world. So I just made up a number. I was like, maybe 5 days. It could have gotten here in 3 days. It could have gotten here in 2. It could have gotten here in 7. I don't know. I've never shipped to South Carolina before. It was my first out of the state order, right? So I'm like, yeah, it'll get to you maybe in 5 days or so. So once we get off the call, I immediately said, you know what? I'm taking it off of YouTube. I'm getting it off of YouTube because it was 3 months. And I didn't want 3 months worth of traction every 3 months, right? I wanted every day kind of interaction and transactions, right? YouTube was just too slow. And this is not a diss to YouTube at all, but just telling my own personal experience.
Well,
YouTube
it's
was really slow.
algorithms, it's all kinds of things, right? So it's not like it's something that you did or didn't do.
Yeah. Yeah. It was whatever it was. I mean, I know it took 3 months to get a call. So I'm like, okay, I'm moving it immediately. I went to Instagram because I thought like, where could I take it, put it where it would get more exposure and be more responsive, because I think Instagram is more interactive, right? So posted on Instagram, and within a week after Instagram, it went international. After that, went to Europe. It went like everywhere. So sales started coming from everywhere, man. Like, and I'm literally watching my screen, and I picked up a little side job or something, like a work from home customer service on the phone, something. And so I'm sitting there and I'm looking at my phone, just all these notifications coming as I'm taking these calls or whatever for some other company. And I'm looking at this stuff and I'm like comparing, like, listen, if I put my energy over here to where my phone is and not to this computer with this Fortune 500 company, which I'm going to talk about that in a second. But I'm like, if I put my energy over here, because I'm looking at all of this stuff versus my whatever X dollars an hour, and I'm looking at my own stuff that I'm like, like neglecting to make my X dollars an hour. And I'm like, you know what? I quit. I was like, forget it. I freaking quit that customer service. I gave my full-time energy to this. I'm looking at literally all of these different messages, and they're not talking to me. These notifications are these people tagging and talking to other people about my product around the world: Panama, Europe, Canada, where you guys are, Kenya, everywhere you can think of around the world. I'm looking at this stuff like God, what the heck? And so it got too big for me for a while, too fast. I literally tried to run away a little bit, as I call it. I took a trip to Puerto Rico because I was stressed. I didn't know how to deal with all of this stuff at one time. I was stressed. I booked a trip to Puerto Rico to get away for about 5 days. And what happened was I couldn't get away because your phone is linked to every damn thing, right? So I have my phone with me and I'm still seeing the notifications, right? Like everything's still like, so I'm still on the beach, like trying to relax, and I'm like responding to stuff. Then I got family calling me, dude, you're in Puerto Rico? I'm like, yeah, man, leave me alone. I'm trying to relax, right? So it's like, all this stuff was happening at one time. But I will say the Fortune 500 company that I was working for with this customer service stuff, I would tell anybody now that if you're going to be in business for yourself, I don't care what it is, from hamburgers to hot dogs, from hamburgers to hair products, right? I believe that if you work, let me rephrase that. I believe that you probably should work for customer service, in customer service, for some Fortune 500 company, because who better to train you? And they pay you. You don't have to tell them that you're only picking up this job for 6 months to get training to run your own company, right? You don't have to tell them. Just fill out the application, get the job, because what you're going to experience with them, like, again, it doesn't matter if it's hamburgers or tires. What you're going to experience with them, the calls that are going to come in, the emails, or whatever your particular job is, it's going to be the same stuff you're going to face in your own company. And how they handle it is going to be, it's going to be paramount to how you handle your business. Like, I've used so much of what I've learned from that Fortune 500 company to do my own product brand, like how I handle customers when they, if they got some problem, if someone who works for me handles the email, or they handle some kind of issue, like maybe the product didn't show up and we know we shipped it. How would this Fortune 500 company handle it? Well, I have training and I know how we would have handled it with them. Now, the only difference is they have a lot of money that they can waste, disposable income, as you might call it. So they might just say, you know what, because we have so much money, just do it this way, right? You can use your own version of that, whatever it is that doesn't hurt your particular financial bottom line. You just tweak it a little bit. And so that's what I did. And so I think that helped a lot. It's not enough to just have a good product, but you have to really interact. And now with social media, you got to get on it right away, because one bad review, like, you got to think about this. I had this conversation with someone, and they were telling me how they have a shop, I believe on Etsy or something like that, and they would haggle with people over maybe a product that was $15 or something. Like, we know there are people out there that will get products and try to return them after they use them. They just want it, they just want it for that moment and give it back. They do it with clothes. They're going to do it with Noggin Oil. They're going to do it with Spray and Lock. They're going to do it with everything, right? They do it to the big brands. They're going to do it to the small brands. The problem with that is if you haggle with these people, they have the power. Especially on Etsy, they are the ones that are in power. All they have to do is leave a bad review about you. And now you have, instead of giving them $15, you could have lost $15 and moved on with your life. Now you have 2,000 potential buyers who saw your stuff that did not spend $15 with you. So do the math, 2,000 times $15. I don't know the number off the top of my head, but I'd rather give somebody their 15 back and deal with the people that's going to buy and it's going to be satisfied, right? So, but anyway, that's my thing about the customer service stuff. I think it's worth it to just pick up a job for 3 months, 6 months. Not that you need the money, but you need the training, right? How would Walmart handle it? How would Best Buy handle it? How would Cosmoprof handle it, right? If someone had a problem with the stuff, they've trained you, they've paid you while they train you to work for their company.
Smart.
Right?
So smart.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you just transfer that stuff over.
That's genius. I think that's the best advice for somebody who's starting out. I think having that experience with customer service, and I don't know anything about the Fortune 500 per se, but I in two sentences, can you tell me what it is?
What
Fortune
exactly?
500.
Oh, Fortune 500 companies. So it's my understanding these are big brands. These are big companies that like the Walmarts, or you have Walmart, right, in Canada,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
okay, you have like what they call the big box stores, right?
Mhm.
Normally they make the Fortune 500 list, and these are just big, basically in a nutshell, just big, huge companies that make a lot of money. Let's put it that way.
The
So
top
it's an
So-
umbrella list. It's an umbrella company that does customer service for all of these different companies. No, okay.
No. Fortune 500 are basically like the top earning 500 companies in the world, basically.
So,
Exactly.
but you worked for
Very
one
well.
of them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay, I
Right.
get it.
That's how it goes. Yes. So each one of these 500 companies would have their own. Of course, they'll have their own company, right? And then they would have their own version of how they do things or handle things when it
Right.
comes to matters of customer service, right? Some banks could probably make that list, I think.
Oh yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
That's
So,
cool.
like, how would you handle returns? Like if people are gonna have a problem, if people say they have a problem, but they really don't. If they're tracking, I'm giving all examples of stuff you'll face. If the tracking shows you that they received it, but they'll send you an email saying I did not, right? How do you handle it? Well, how would the Fortune 500 company handle it?
Got it.
Right.
So if
Well,
you were trained by them, you could transfer that stuff over to your own business, right?
Yep.
And you'll know how they would handle it, providing the fact that you have the money to handle some of the things the way that they would handle it. Again, they have very deep pockets. These are the top, like Brian said, these are the top earners, right? Top 500 earning companies.
So you're just using Fortune 500 as like not specifying the company that you were working for.
right.
Exactly.
Got
Yes. I
it.
don't want.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yes.
Now
I
I'm
don't
in
want to say
it.
their name.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So it's.
Hey, I wanted to touch
Yeah.
on something you mentioned earlier about how you were not a salesperson. Like you
Not at
didn't want to
all.
deal with all that stuff, and that was one of your difficulties, right? I think so
Yes.
many people in the hair industry, especially stylists that are doing hair, you're dealing with clients. Like we get really good on one-on-one relationships, right? That's where our expertise lies.
This is
And
true.
so if you're doing something like stepping out and creating a product, or I mean, even creating your own salon or your own business, there's another whole bunch of things you have to learn to deal with. And so that was a really interesting idea, like going and working somewhere part-time, even if it's like a virtual thing, make a little bit of
Yeah.
money and learn what you feel you're missing to help
Exactly.
aid the process of your product company, your salon, your whatever. That was a really cool concept. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
The other
Yeah.
thing I love about Spray and Lock is you're very focused on natural, healthy ingredients. And both Karen and I are really committed to that as well. We have Noggin Oil, and I also have another product line called World Hair and Skin. And my whole journey started because after being a hairstylist for 10 years and not knowing anything about toxic chemicals, I developed contact dermatitis on my hands. It was
Oh
really
God,
bad, cracked,
never even heard of that.
bleeding. Never heard of it?
No.
And so that opened my eyes to just how many things are in our environment that we don't even know about, you know?
Wow.
And so I couldn't find a line that had no fragrance and, you know, no parabens and sulfates and all that kind of stuff. So
Mhm.
I was introduced to a chemist, and he and I spent a year and a bit creating prototypes. And lucky enough,
Yes.
you know, I was able to test them out in the salon, and with Noggin Oil too. You know, we had clients that would come in, clients of Karen's, and as we were creating the prototypes, we were testing it out on clients. And so I want to hear about your journey, about how the natural, I mean, using fruit nectars. I see you have a lot of fruit nectars in your products, and I
Mhm.
also love that it's only 5 products. Your arsenal, we love that
Yeah.
idea too.
Awesome. Yeah.
How did you get to that level of being natural focused?
Good questions, man. You know, I just believe there's a, and I like what you said too. There's a, I would say there's a lot of undereducation, right? I wouldn't say there's a lot of miseducation, but there's a lot of undereducation that happens. And just like you said, like you didn't realize using these products were gonna do the things that they did to your hand, right? You know, because it had these chemicals in them. Yeah, it's not that you were miseducated. It's not like someone told you that that would not happen to you. That's being miseducated. It's you didn't know that it would happen, right? And that was the same with me. Like I and most of us we're undereducated when it comes to what's actually in the product and the effects thereof, the long-term effects, because that didn't happen to you the first day you used it, right? That happened over, yeah, a series of uses, right? So the long-term effects is what is not discussed. Yes, it may say it has XYZ chemical in it, and whatever entity, whatever government entity, government approved entity said it's safe to use. But what they don't tell you is it's only safe in certain portions. And it's
Mm-hmm.
only safe for a certain
Mm.
amount of time.
Mhm.
And what they don't tell you is each product has a certain amount of this safe level of this bad ingredient, if that even makes sense,
Mm-hmm.
that they can use. Imagine, I'm gonna make up a number right now. Imagine if you have, if the government says, I don't know, Canadian government, American government, European government, whatever, if they say you're allowed to put an unsafe chemical in a product, 2%, up to 2%, right? Right? Anything above 2%, we're gonna say it's we're gonna ban it from our shelves. You can't sell it. But as long as you set that 2% mark, you're good. Now, if they say that 8% makes that chemical, makes that hair product toxic or give health issues, right? At 8%. Um, there's no regulation on, imagine you having one, two, three, imagine you having 4 products that just has 2% of that bad chemical in it. You're
Yeah.
at the 8% now. You get my point,
Exactly.
right? So what if you buy brand A, let's just say brand A, 2% of toxic chemical in their shampoo, brand A, same company, 2% of toxics in their conditioner, brand A, 2% of toxic, right? You
Mhm.
bought the whole line, right? And now you're pouring 8%. You're at the level now of, right, of what the
Yeah.
government says is bad for your health.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have 8% of that at the very minimum.
Yeah.
So anyway, to answer the question, I really just said, you know, I would try to avoid that as much as possible. And there's a lot of undereducation in terms of what natural hair products can do. Chemicals are really just a substitute that somebody found for what's naturally out there.
Filler.
You have to find the combination. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you have to find the combination of the right ingredients that will give you that. So it's not the other way around. It's not natural ingredients that, how can I put this? It's not natural ingredients that will give you the same results as the synthetic stuff. The synthetic stuff is mimicking what the natural ingredients can do.
That's right.
Right.
You have to find those natural ingredients, right? Somebody wanted to take a shortcut, make it cheaper. They didn't want to get an orange off a tree and chop it up and take the seeds out and juice it and you know what I mean, like, and put it in the product and then mix some other fruit or vegetable with it that could give you the results that this cheap chemical can
Mhm.
do, right? The
Right.
chemicals are just a shortcut. Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
somebody
all
want to
about
save
making
some money.
money and
Yeah.
making things as cheaply as possible for the mass market. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
think we should take
So
a break because I want to get back and I want to talk a little bit more about the product. I want to show the product. We want to dive a little bit deeper, and I think we're going to do our usual giveaway of Noggin Oil, right? So ShJae will
awesome.
ask a question about this first half of the podcast, and then we will choose a winner in our comments of our YouTube premiere. So there you go. We'll be right back.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Oh, my noggin is sore. Oh, I just had my braids done. Yeah, she killed my noggin. Girl, you need some noggin oil to soothe that. Bingo, bingo. Ding, 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 ding. Ding, 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 ding. The
Put
noggin oil replenish and chill. This is what she want me to put on your stuff. Replenish and chill. Replenish and chill. Noggin oil. It smells really good. Applying the noggin oil to the noggin. How about that? Noggin oil is good for the summertime. Right? Noggin oil would be good for the summertime humidity. Right? Keeping that scalp oil that moisturize and cool. It'll keep your scalp cool so that you don't feel so hot. If you have braids, locks, twists, or even an afro, it will keep that hair, that scalp refreshed and feeling cool for the summertime. How's your noggin feeling? Much better. Yay, noggin oil. Made his noggin feel a little better.
Hey, we're back. So we would like to dive a little deeper.
Yes, I have the product. Brian has the product. Magic. Look at that. It's on. Now, if you're listening to the podcast, you cannot see, but if you're on the YouTube, you can get a clear shot there. This is his product. I'm going to just go into the bit of the history about how ShJae and I met, because we did meet on Instagram originally. We found each other there. And then I was at the Natural Hair Industry Convention in 2018 and 19, 2 years in a row. And it was 2019 that we met. No, did we meet in 2018?
No, it was 2019 because I was with you in 2018.
Yeah, but then you left. And then ShJae and I met for Peach Cobbler in the hotel.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, she's crazy about peach cobbler, man. She's crazy about that peach cobbler. Oh my God.
Really good.
We so loved
Yeah.
Atlanta, by the way. What a
I'm
great
still in
city.
Atlanta.
Can't wait to go back.
Oh, cool, man. Cool.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
love
it has an effect. It has an effect on most people. That's how most of us ended up here. We came to visit and we're like, you know what? I'm going back to get my clothes and I'll be right back to live.
Yes.
That's how it happens.
Yes.
So yeah.
Good energy. And then the next year we spent a little bit more quality time together, right? We hung out.
Yeah.
What was the theater called?
The Fox Theater.
The Fox
You're
Theater.
going to you're going to see some play.
I was going to go see
yeah.
Wicked. Brian, this is a fantastic little story. So I'm standing outside. He pulls up. He has his son. I'm like, we stopped and talked for about 20, 25 minutes before the beginning of the play. And he's like, there's a lot of white people here. Like, what is this show? And I was like, oh, it's Wicked. And it's about the Wizard of Oz. And he's like, oh, okay. Like, I'd never heard of that.
Right. Yeah, because, well, the thing that stood out was if you've been to Atlanta, Brian, and Karen's been here, it's a really black city, bro. Like, you know what I mean? So when you have these plays and stuff, I was expecting to see at least one black person that was interested in whatever was going to be playing, right? Or whatever was going to happen. Nope. And there were none. It was like, it was just me and my son. We were the only two. So I'm like, hey, what is this play? Like, yeah, so, but, yeah,
Well,
Did
here's
you
the
actually like
part.
the play, Karen? Was it good?
Well, full disclosure,
She
I
said no.
left at the intermission.
That's what she told me. Yes.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
she went. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what
I
she
couldn't
told
get
me.
into it. I
Yeah.
was sitting around and I just was like, I was really conscious. I was like, this, I don't feel it. And
You know what?
I appreciate the work that goes into it. Like, I love live theater. I just wasn't, maybe it was just, yeah, I can't.
Yeah. Years and years ago,
The
there was
energy.
a musical called Cats.
Oh,
I
yeah,
remember that.
Cats.
Huge success. And it was the same thing for me. I could not wait to get out of that theater. It was so, so disappointing. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know.
yeah.
So that was an interesting time.
Not for everybody. Yeah, some of these plays are not for everyone.
No,
Yeah.
but you know, the experience was great, and it was really awesome to be able. I think actually we talked for almost an hour. Like
I thought so. Yeah.
It was a long time. So that was the other time that we connected, and now sort of bringing it back. So I've been ordering ShJae's products for my clients. They even message me. They're like, "Hey, do you have any more spray and lock?" And I'm like, "Yes, I just got some." And for those of you who are watching, this is the product. This is the OG product, because you have 4 now. 3. I have 3 of them.
5. Isn't there 5?
No.
There is probably about 9. now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's about 9 total, I believe.
Well, shame on me.
Well, no, well, 2 of them, two of those are for beards. So
Yeah.
you know.
Okay, well then I take it back.
Right.
Yeah. So let's look at this bottle for a minute. I have to tell you, one of the selling points.
Here she goes.
Is
Here she goes. Here she goes.
Is the very attractive looking man without a shirt.
There she goes with that. I knew it was coming.
Of course it is. Of course it is. That's you.
It is me.
Can you talk about this? This is your logo. This is the image that we recognize. And you know what?
It actually is.
We talk about this, like clients are like, "What's with that?" And I'm like, "But you remember it."
Yeah. Just like the spoon and the fork, you gotta have that.
Yeah. So Karen says she wants to address that, and again, full disclosure, I will tell you, that image actually was an image that was taken way before there was an even concept of spray and lock in my head. And what happened, this is a true story, what happened was, now that I'm talking about this stuff, it's so interesting how everything, like from past experience all comes together for maybe your ultimate calling, if you want to call it that, right? Mm-hmm. Because that image actually was just a random photo I took. And when I was trying to come up with my bottle, like my labeling and what it was going to look like, I had 4 different images in mind, and I was going to take a fresh new one just for the bottle. So once I designed the label and everything, I said, you know what, let me just take an old photo that I have and put it in place of where I would have the labeled, the photo for the label. I put it in that place to see what it would look like. And when I put it there, I was like, why change it? Done deal, right? Like that photo was not taken for the bottle. It was just, it was something that I already had, and it worked. And I didn't feel like changing it. And I was like, okay, I'm good enough, right?
Good for you.
That's what happened on that. What are the conversations that happens? What you said the conversations happen.
So hang on.
Okay.
Karen and I, when we were developing Noggin Oil and we were working on our branding and our logo and everything, your spray and lock was one of the things that came out, and I'm looking for a photo because it has never been seen before, and Karen's going to kill me, but I have to find it and show you.
No!
I can't wait to see what's going to happen. I'm like,
yeah, she's going to kill me.
Did you find it?
No, I'm still looking, but okay. Let's just keep talking because it's going to be worth the wait.
Okay.
So you said the conversation was, Karen, what were we saying?
Well, yeah, I mean, my clients, right? Like they see this product on my shelf And they're like, who's the dude on the bottle? And I'm like, oh, he's the owner. He's the founder of Spray and Lock. Why does he not have a shirt on? I mean, I'm not complaining, but
Yeah, right. Yeah. You know, I try to tell people too, like you have to kind of visualize your you have to at some point visualize your product being, after all, in competition with other brands. You have to visualize your product not only being in competition with them, but being on the shelf, literally next to 2 and 3 other ones surrounding you. You have to also understand that you have, according to research that I did not do, by the way, is research that I've did, research that were taken by other professionals, right? They tell us that images, our eyes, human eyes are more attracted to images than we are words, right? So what's going to make that customer, that potential customer browsing through the aisles of Cosmoprof, grab and even want to read and look at what Noggin Oil is, right? If it's just, so it's like, let's put something that's going to immediately just jump out at you, and you're going to at least pick it up and say, what is it? Just like your client said, what is it with this, right? Even if you don't like it, even if you're like, why is this dude freaking naked on a bottle, which I'm not naked, by the way, but why is this dude like that on this bottle of stuff?
Don't spoil it. We all think
we'll never know.
Right. Right. So, but also while we're on that subject, it's funny because again, Spray and Lock is used like 6 continents now. All the products are used on different continents now as we speak. And it's so interesting because I have communication just via, like, a lot of times these emails would come, or the company would get direct messages or something on some social media platform, right? And different countries view things a little differently than other countries. I've learned a lot of that stuff. Like, so that was someone in Kenya that was saying, hey, and we had a little conversation about the photo on the bottle, and it was not like in a negative way, but she was saying that the Kenyans over there very much love the whole bottle, the picture, everything. And they were saying something. She kept using this word naked, right? I'm like, let me address this real quick. I'm not naked on the bottle. She's like, trust me, to us, you are naked on the bottle. It's like, yeah, she's like, trust me, to us in Kenya, you are naked on that bottle. I don't care what you say. You have no pants on, sir. You have no shirt on. Like,
but you are wearing a bracelet.
Yeah, there's a bracelet on there. But yeah, it's interesting because you learn about all these different cultures. Now, I know Tanzania, which is a neighboring country of Kenya. Tanzania is very much, they're super conservative when it comes to women, like to the point that a guy does not have to know you as a woman, and you can walk in something that they deem inappropriate, and he can chastise you verbally about what you have on and tell you, yeah, and it's perfect. It's a very conservative place, and women that travel there, I guess they have to, know these things, because what's perfectly acceptable you think is fine is not showing too much or whatever, from whatever country you come from, whether it's Canada or the US. The Tanzanian men might say, like, and I've actually seen, it's not rumor because I've seen this like on a YouTube video. This girl was saying, look, I'm traveling from Kenya on this little bus that they have. I'm going to Tanzania. She's like, I hope what I have on is fine. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, she gets to Tanzania and she's shooting her video on live, right? She's actually doing a little live thing, and she turned her live film into a YouTube video. And you hear a guy actually, sounds like he may have been across the street from her or something. You hear from a distance yelling out to her, like, respect yourself. Well, look what you have on. What are you wearing, right? And so she goes, after maybe a couple of times this happens to her, she goes to some, I want to call it a market or something. Like, they have these outdoor markets and stuff. She goes to this market and she comes back, like, she cuts the film and she comes back and films again. She's like, okay, guys, I just had to buy this jacket, because it's longer, and cover up because these guys are heckling me about what I wear. So yeah. So I just said all that to say that, like, with the image on the bottle, different countries might view it differently, and like, yeah.
Oh,
so
yeah. Like Europe, for instance, so much more open, progressive. America, Canada.
yeah.
We
America
can always
too, like,
inspire.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Brian. Go ahead. What were we saying?
I mean, I think it's, yeah, about pushing the envelope a little bit and making things sort of a bit more memorable. Like you said, you know, like why sort of hold, yeah,
Well,
you want things to jump out and be memorable,
yeah.
basically.
So, you know, you got to think like also in the US, again, we talk about cultural differences and country differences, right? Even in the US, back to the photo on the bottle, and I'm in Georgia, which is a very, I would say, gender and sexually friendly place, right? Like,
Yep.
if you want to be openly, whatever, you can be openly, whatever. It's a, you know, it's you see it all around you, right? So, people here would most of the time look at the bottle and they would immediately say, you know, that guy might be kind of, he can't be so heterosexual, right? So, so I've gotten that from I've noticed different countries now. Somebody in New York, they don't even think twice about that, right? It just depends on where you are and what you see more of,
Right. Yep.
in where you live, right? So it's like, you know, I've been put in that category several times. I will say, since we're doing this, I am single and I'm 100% heterosexual. Again, I will state I am single. So if anybody's, if anybody's, let me put that plug in there.
What's interesting is a lot of people we've spoken to who are entrepreneurs who are really devoted to their products, their business, their mission, and are really business driven, business focused, are single, because that's a whole other, you know, ball game
That's
to
a relationship.
incorporate relationship into your business empire, right? Like, it's
Yeah.
hard. So it doesn't
Yes.
surprise me.
Yeah.
It's a lot of, yeah, there's some things that, especially when you're like 100% full-time company owner, business owner, or whatever, like there's a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for here? There's a lot of, I guess, time that you will put into whatever you're doing, right? And there's a lot of things that people wouldn't understand if they're not also doing something similar, not necessarily in the hair field, but because, you know, let's just be real. Most people in real life, they have a certain structure that entrepreneurs totally, Brian, Karen, me, we live by a whole different time frame, right? We can get up at certain times, we can go to sleep at certain times, we can take naps at certain times, we can eat at certain times. The rest of the world on a certain structure.
Right.
I don't care if it's from 9 to 5, from 6 to 3, right? Everything's laid out for them of what they should do. And everybody else that's not you, me, Brian, and any other entrepreneur, this is how they live. They do not understand really like why, right? You're doing this at 3 a.m, right?
Yeah.
Why aren't you in the bed? Why aren't you? Yeah. They understand why you need to make a run right now down the street to the store and grab whatever, right? For the business. Brian's laughing because he knows that they don't understand that, right?
Yeah.
Yes. And so it can cause even, and here's another issue. If you have so much time on your hands, because it's not that you do, but the perception is you're an entrepreneur. You can be wherever you want to be. So I need you to be here with me right now, right? And you're like, no, I am an entrepreneur. I have my own whatever, right? I am the boss or whatever you want to call me, but I still have my own certain kind of structure, right? Like I may not have a boss telling me that I need to do it this way, but I still have my own kind of structure. And what I have to do is very important to me too, right? So of course, I would love to be wherever you are at 3 a.m, 4 a.m, but I still have a lot of stuff to do here, right? I got to get on emails. I have to, right? So they don't get that. You can sacrifice that for a minute and come and do. No. What if I were to ask you to do the same thing, right? With your 9 to 5 or whoever you work for? Well, that's different because I have a boss that's telling me what to do. And
That's right.
okay, yeah.
Very true.
I mean, so
first time ever on Lock Talk, and this is an homage to ShJae. Ready?
What? Wait.
Can you see?
That's you. I see you, Brian, right?
Brian,
and wait a minute, who's
What?
talk and let people see, because it's
So
wait. Don't move the picture, Brian. Don't move the picture. Wait, is that who? That's not you, Karen, is it?
That's Karen.
With black hair too. Oh my God. She has you dyed it blonde or something? Like over.
Well, actually, my hair's like a dark teal. It's like greeny, bluey.
Oh,
It's a similar color to Jocelyn. She has curly new growth. A Digital Loctician is her new brand. Same color.
okay.
Yeah.
So
Oh, nice.
ShJae, I convinced
Yes.
Karen to do a little photo shoot. She came to World Salon, my salon, to get her hair colored.
Nice.
That was the
Okay.
beginning
Oh,
of
wait,
your.
Brian,
Huh?
real quick, by the way, I love that name, dude. The name of that World Salon, that's a killer name, dude. Like
Oh,
that's a
cool.
killer
Thank
name.
you.
World
Thank you.
Salon is
31 years, dude.
nice.
Yeah.
Nice. But anyway, go ahead. Yeah.
So this was the beginning of your second lock journey, right, Karen?
Yep.
Yep. And so she came to have her teal, and then I convinced her to pose with me.
How long ago was that picture?
This is 2000 and
It's in 2000.
2018, January 31st.
Wow. Wow, that was quite recent.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
3 years ago. 3 years ago.
Yeah, that's pretty recent though. That's like, you know,
Yeah.
nice. So what are you guys gonna do with the photo? Where's it go?
Oh, I don't
The
know.
archives.
Maybe on our next product.
Karen, how do you feel about that? Would you do it?
But she has to have her top off too.
Ah,
Right.
hey, you know what? Wait. It may sound like a joke, but that would probably not be bad. Like, not that you're showing stuff.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, yeah, just to tease a little bit that, just
Yeah.
if you guys press a little closer in,
Yeah,
know?
exactly. I think,
yeah, you
I
can't
think we
see.
should do it.
Yeah.
And guess what? We're going to haunt you. Every store that you're selling in, we're going to be right next to you on the shelf.
Hey, that'll work. I know the store owner's gonna be like, "What the hell is going on in the hair industry, man? What is going on? All these brands are popping up with naked people on the bottles, man. What the?"
It all started with you, man.
Bring it down.
Okay.
We're making Karen cry over there. Man. She's in tears.
You guys that are not on YouTube are going to have to watch this later.
Yeah.
Man.
We've had some good laughs on Lock Talk, but I think this one takes the cake.
Yeah.
And,
Oh man.
and I appreciate you, ShJae, with just, you're showing up your truth self, and your authenticity shines, and you have a sense of humor about it too. And I think that's why we jive so well,
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. It's been amazing. Like, we've met some incredible people on this show. And once again, inspiring, so inspiring hearing your story, and so eloquent. And it's been wonderful.
Thank you, man.
Really wonderful.
Appreciate that.
We wish you
Thanks,
all the luck for post-pandemic. Wait. Post-pandemic, there is going to be another 20s. The 2020s are going to be the 1920s. Are you hearing that at all?
No. What? Explain this to me. A
No,
post-pandemic.
Yeah, once things start to settle down and things start to open up again, there are so many people. Imagine how many people on the planet that have been holding back. They've been in a very solitary situation. And I mean, in Canada, it's bonkers. Where we live in Ontario, it's even worse. Like, we haven't worked in the salon for 7 months.
So they still have a certain lockdown there then, right?
Yeah,
now,
we still have a
in
lockdown.
Canada. Wow.
So, you're not going to restaurants, you're not going to clubs, you're not going to concerts. Like, you're not spending money. So you're going to have all these people that are pent up, and
I got
they
you.
have cash.
So in the 1920s, it was nicknamed the Roaring Twenties because it came.
I remember that phrase.
War. And after the World War and after the Depression, then people started to come out of it and flourish and celebrate. And so there's this prediction that we are going to experience the Roaring Twenties again in 2020. So this decade is going to be explosive in that regard, celebrating
Everything.
the future of we've moved out of this pandemic, and how basically a new birth of businesses and discoveries in science, and all of these things are happening. So it's and people are pent up. So yeah, as Brian says, we are going to be out seeing each other around the world and celebrating life and love, right?
Mhm.
I'm all
Mhm.
for that.
And then the Noggin
Hey.
Oil World Tour is going to happen.
As it should. Hey,
Noggin Oil-
I think certain states in the US have already started this roaring 20s thing that you guys are talking about. Because even here in Georgia, it's like everybody's back to normal. They're living life. They're at the clubs. They're doing all this stuff as if there was never, as if there were never any pandemic whatsoever. So me personally, I've not been to a club. Today was the first day that I even played with the idea of getting my son back into a school structure, right? With other students. Some people do well, and I would imagine like if you took college courses, like they have online courses and then you have regular in-person courses. Some people do well with one or the other. Very few of us do well with both. My
Mhm.
son, he's what they classify as a gifted student, so he's really, really bright, like to the point where they have to have certain teachers to teach him because he can outsmart the teachers. So him working at home, like 8 hours a day, 6 hours a day on the laptop is not working for him. That is not his element. Like he needs to be around other children. He's still a 10-year-old after all, right? So that's just a big ask, like to have a 9-year-old or 8-year-old or 7 or 10-year-old to sit in front of a computer. Most adults with a job can't do that like all day, right? So I'm just like, I had to make the tough decision and say, you know what? I know this thing is not over, but it's like it's him and his
You have to have,
education
you have
versus
to, yeah, you have to leverage your mental health, right? And it's a
yeah.
component that we don't talk about, which is why a lot of the beauty industry here in Toronto and Ontario are protesting in in some capacity, while
Yes.
still showing respect that this is going on, but really saying to our government that the beauty industry isn't exclusively or about vanity. It's not about, right? It is about mental wellness. When somebody comes in and sits down in your
Right.
chair and gets service,
This is
they
true.
leave with more self-esteem, with a bounce in their step. They do better in their job. They do better with their home because they feel better. It is mental health. And
Yes,
so
it is.
it's really troubling, but we are trying to navigate as a global unit, and we all come from a different perspective.
Yep.
Somebody
Yeah.
had said to me so eloquently, we are all weathering the same storm in different boats.
This is true. Yeah.
Yeah.
And see, what you said is very true because they need to, when I say they, I'm speaking of the government, right? They need to make sure that the hair industry, the stylists, the barbers are looked at as, quote, essential workers, just like the other ones that they label as essential workers. Because to be honest, your title says whatever it says hairstylist, but you are responsible for so much more that no one gives you credit for. Like
Mhm.
hairstylists and barbers, you keep relationships together. You have two people to meet that never otherwise would have met had they not looked the way that you gave them, right? You
Mhm.
are sometimes the only person that they have to talk to about whatever bad situation is going on in their life. You're the therapist,
Yeah.
right? People that can't afford a therapist will go to their hairstylist twice a week just to talk. They say they want to get their hair done, and they do, maybe, right? But they want to vent something and get your advice about something, right?
Yeah.
So I believe that it's very important that as you say, the government, I don't care what country you're in, they understand that element of it. And I think it would be an easier sell, if I want to use that word, to those who make these rules and say what's essential and what's not, if those are the bullet points that you point out, right? And by all means, get some online petitions signed, like people that are agreeing with what I just said.
Mhm.
This stylist is my therapist, right? No, they didn't go to school to get a license for it, but they've helped me through so much stuff, right? Even if they don't have advice, just being there for an hour, getting my hair done, being able to talk to them is therapeutic for me, right? Get a petition signed or something,
Yeah.
so
We have a few of them going.
All
yeah.
right, so let's bring it back. We're gonna wrap up here, but we're gonna do a Noggin Oil giveaway because that's what we love to do here. And ShJae, you're gonna give us a trivia question that referenced something that you talked about in the first part of the podcast. And for anybody
Okay.
that's watching the premiere now on YouTube, we the first person to comment the answer and gets it correctly, we will reach out to you and gift you a combo of Noggin Oil. So there you go. ShJae, what is your question?
My trivia question would be, What state did I say the first order came from out of my inner circle? What state did that order come from? That would be the trivia question. And if you get that right, Brian and Karen is going to give you something. What is that? What are they going to give you? What are you going to give those people? Noggin Oil.
Yeah, Noggin Oil combo.
All right, let's see it for those on YouTube. Let's hold it up. Let's see it. Let's see the Noggin Oil for those that can watch us. So they can see the packaging and everything. So.
Yes, sir. Look at you.
There it is.
Helping us, helping you, helping us, helping you. Gosh.
There it is.
Right?
Nice.
And it's funny, you mentioned about how, video does not convey things like scent, smell, texture, feeling, right? So it's just like.
Yeah.
So good. Yeah. So good. And the packaging, you heard it here first. Soon to be inspired by ShJae.
I hope so, man. I'm serious. Like, that would not be bad. I think that would be pretty cool. Pretty cool. Wait a minute. What's the word on there? It says something across it.
Oh, it says Noggin Oil.
Okay. It's in white. It is. Now, did you do that yourself? You put the words on?
Yeah, I just put that on the photo. Just to sort of tease everybody, and it got so shot down. It was not funny. But guess what? It's coming to a Sally's near you. Right next to Spray and Lock.
This is our
Hey, I'm all for it.
Our actual promo card. A little
nice
shirt on.
Yes, pull it closer because it's a glare from the light. Let me see. Wait. So when did you guys take that photo? Because Karen's hair is shorter, obviously. And
well, the dye is out of my hair.
Yeah.
This would have been the summer after the January, because the January was just like a temp dye. So my locks are only about, I don't know, shoulder length ish.
Yeah.
And then Brian
is a lot longer.
I guess Brian you took your mustache away, I guess, right? You don't have your mustache anymore. Is that?
Yeah. I mean, it's a little bit.
But oddly enough, it just keeps growing back.
I think you'll be upset if it didn't. Like, that's a bad sign if his hair stops growing. It should be coming back.
Don't like that option.
I know.
But I am so excited for everyone to start commenting about this episode, because we had some good laughs, and I'm so glad that you shared those stories with us.
No doubt, man.
A wonderful, wonderful episode, and thank you for joining us today on Lock Talk.
Thanks for having me, man. It was a pleasure. Like, anytime.
And
when we're back in Atlanta, we're gonna hang, okay?
Hey, I'm for it, man. Just let me know.
We're gonna post all your handles and everything in the description. And thanks everybody for listening, and we will see you next time. Thanks for watching. We love you all. Bless up. Mwah. See you later.
Bye below. Don't forget to subscribe. Lock Talk. Take care.
Lock Talk. Lock Talk. This episode of Lock Talk was brought to you by
Noggin Oil, Modlocks, World Hair and Skin.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.
We'll see you next time.